Thank you so much for being with us for the Classical Cafe. I'm Caitlin Matson, and we have a green room. Joining me in the green room today, Matthew Schloneger, who is the director of Opera Kansas, and Allison McIntosh, a Lawrence-based composer. Opera Kansas is preparing her chamber opera, The Murderess, a true crime opera, performing it this Thursday and Sunday. Hello to both of you.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, first of all, I think it's wonderful that you're highlighting a Kansas composer. Allison, you do currently live in Lawrence, and you have been involved heavily with Kansas University, with KU.
Yeah, I did my doctorate at KU.
We'll talk more about your collaboration there and also your very first collaboration with Opera Kansas. But Matthew, let's first go through some of the details and logistics for the show. One of Opera Kansas's missions is to create opera in interesting places. You've performed arias at the Cosmosphere. You staged an entire opera at the Sedgwick County Courthouse. And this time you're at Oddfellow Hall. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in Wichita still aren't aware of Oddfellow Hall. It's a wonderful little venue in Delano. It's a historic building on the second floor of a building. It's right, if you know where Leslie Coffee Shop is, coffee company on Douglas. It's on the second floor, right above that. And it's only recently opened as a venue. There's a lot of things going on there. I kind of like to call it has the feel of an old speakeasy. And it's a wonderful, historic, intimate space.
And the show is Thursday and Sunday?
Thursday and Sunday. And actually, if anyone comes on Thursday night, you can do dinner and a show. We'll have dinner starting at 6:30, catered by Oddfellow Hall, and then the show at 7:30. And Sunday you can get a dessert and cash bar as well, so you can enjoy a meal or dessert with the show as well.
Oh, that's great. So to get tickets and to look at different ticket prices and options is the easiest way to go to your website. And what is that?
Yeah, just operakansas.org very easily, or you can buy them directly from Oddfellow Hall at their website. So get your tickets now. It is a relatively small, intimate venue. So we hope you'll get your tickets in advance and come enjoy a great evening or afternoon with us.
That's so great. Oddfellow Hall. You're right. It is kind of like a speakeasy or almost a supper club.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a fun environment to have this chamber opera, which kind of is centered around not only women, but crime. Two of my
Yes.
favorite things. Because I'll get in my car after work and drive home listening to my true crime podcast. So Allison, tell us a bit about the chamber opera.
Yeah, so it's called The Murderess. It is about an hour long opera. It is about women, as you said, and about crime. So it's based on the story of Jane Toppin, who was a serial killer in the late 1900s, right around the turn of the century. And she was a nurse who killed her patients. So she is kind of one of the main characters of the show. It's about a snapshot of like one day in her life where she's taking care of a very elderly rich woman, and there's a little bit of suspicion about what exactly is going to happen. So yeah.
How large is the cast?
4 singers, 3 of them are women, and then it's accompanied by a chamber ensemble of 6 instruments.
So your compositional style, can you tell us a bit about what we can expect? I mean, we're going to hear a bit of this. I have a clip of Minnie's aria to play for our listeners, and it's very beautiful, easy to listen to. I would say it would challenge a lot of people's, maybe preconceived notions of what a contemporary piece of music might sound like to them. So often we have a bad taste in our mouth when somebody talks about more modern contemporary pieces, but this just isn't the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true of a lot of modern music. People have associations of it, but there's all sorts of types of music that are currently being written today. My style tends to be pretty lyrical. I'm really interested, especially when writing opera, I'm really interested in reflecting the text and the story and elevating that. I like to have a sort of mix of like new styles and new sounds, and then more kind of traditional sounds from the Western canon in my writing.
When was this first premiered?
Just this last summer in July by Landlocked Opera Company here in Kansas City.
Fantastic. We're going to listen to a clip of this aria. Can you just set the scene for us a bit?
Totally. So this is in scene 4, so about midway towards the end, I guess, of the show, and it's the character Minnie, who is the very old, elderly, very sick, kind of terminally ill woman. She's bedridden throughout the whole show, doesn't move from her bed. And in this aria, she's describing a dream that she's had where she um, is remembering her childhood horse and the feeling of riding it and being free and like escaping from this pain of her illness. So yeah, it's very much about that sort of feeling.
That was Minnie's aria from The Murderess by Allison McIntosh, the chamber opera that Opera Kansas is producing and performing. There are 2 performances. You have an opportunity to see the show, and if you want to, you can have dinner. This Thursday evening, it is at Oddfellow Hall, and then again a Sunday matinee with an option for, was it dessert, Matthew?
Yes.
Matthew Schloneger, the director of Opera Kansas. Um, we just listened to that gorgeous soprano sing a snippet of this piece, and we talked off mic about how one of the missions of Opera Kansas is to employ and utilize this vast talent that we have here in the state and in the Kansas City area. So tell
Yes.
us a bit about the performers in the show and their Kansas ties, their roots.
Yeah, well, everyone in the show is regional. We have the entire orchestra and stage director, and everyone is from Kansas. Of our 4 singers, 2 are from right here in Wichita. Stephanie Sheldon and Ethan Manlove, who you may have seen in the area, and then our other performers are from the Kansas City area. Janice Pentico is a soprano, and then Christina and Jonathan Ray. Christina is playing the role of Minnie, and Jonathan is our music director. They actually run our sister company, one of our sister companies called Landlocked Opera in Missouri. They commissioned and premiered this show, so we've brought them down here to Wichita to work on the show with us. And yeah, it is part of our mission to hire local and regional singers and give them opportunities. And they're doing fabulously. It's going to be a great show.
And I think it's really amazing that we now have a local composer, Allison McIntosh, who lives in Lawrence and has worked both in the Lawrence area and, well, all over, to be honest. And this is the first time that you've collaborated with Opera Kansas. Allison, would you just kind of go through a little bit and tell us about your compositional career? You're both an educator and currently, have pieces that are being performed around the states. Tell us a bit about you and what you do in the day to day.
Sure. Yeah, so I am a composer. My main focus and passion is writing for voice, but I also am an educator, teach both music theory and composition. Right now, I'm teaching a composition studio at Missouri Western State University up in St. Joseph, Missouri. And in the past, I've taught at UMKC, Kansas City, and then at University of Kansas, where I did my doctorate. But yeah, still, freelance composing, doing some teaching, and, doing all the music things.
I think this is just such a wonderful opportunity for the people of Wichita and around central Kansas to get out and not only see an opera, but experience a contemporary work by a living composer, a work that utilizes the talents of Kansans. I mean, you can't get any more local and Kansas centric than this. And what a fun night for people to choose to have dinner. Um, Oddfellow Hall, a wonderful venue in the Delano district. To get tickets, where do they go, Matthew?
Operakansas.org, or you can go directly to Oddfellow Hall's website, either way.
And ticket prices, if people choose not to have dinner, they can just get a general admission price.
Yeah, general admission, both on Thursday and Sunday are $30, or also 20 for seniors or 10 for students. So part of our mission is to make opera affordable and accessible. And if you do want dinner with the show on Thursday night, the cost is $55.
Oh, okay, great. So if somebody wants dessert and a drink, there's a cash bar that they
And there's a
can.
cash bar or dessert, yeah, so you can pay for that
Oh,
as
okay,
well. But if you you'll pay that much for just your ticket, or a lot more for a lot of shows these days. So we think it's a great
it's a
deal.
great deal. Dinner and a show, $55. That's
Yes.
fabulous. Um, let's see, what else do you have coming up? Opera Kansas. The pandemic put threw a wrench in everybody's plans there for a bit, but you have a full season. You've already been at it this fall. Tell us what's coming next.
Yeah, well, we have a bit of a break now, but we have two shows coming up in May and the 1st of June. We'll be doing our original children's opera. This will be our second run of the show, Mr. Twister and the Tale of Tornado Alley, for a week of 12 performances at Exploration Place in May. We'll have a couple public performances. Most of those will be for student groups coming through Exploration Place, and it's actually an opera about tornado safety, which is a lot of fun. And then as part of the Wichita River Fest, we will be performing HMS Pinafore. Actually, Pinafore will be doing a performance up at the McPherson Opera House
Great.
on last day of May, and then June 1st and 2nd at Century 2. So
And this
we're really excited.
this is the return of the Riverfest Opera in Mary Jane Teal Theater. I know that there are people out there listening who are going to remember how wonderful it was to have an opera being performed during Riverfest and going to the Mary
Yes.
Jane Teal and being able to experience that with Opera Kansas. And we haven't had that for a while, and this
No,
is
it's
it returning.
been a while, and yeah, as a board, we decided we wanted to bring that back, and so we're grateful for that Riverfest is interested in doing it again, and of course, Pinafore is such a fun show. So yeah, we have a great season, and hope lots of you listening will come out to see all of our shows, starting with the Murderess this weekend.
Allison, what's your website?
AllisonMcIntoshmusic.com.
AllisonMcIntoshmusic.com. There you can see, read her bio. You can look at a schedule or see when her pieces are being performed and what she's up to. We're so grateful for you bringing us The Murderess to Wichita. It sounds like such a wonderful evening. For tickets, go to either the Oddfellow Hall website or go to opperkansas.org. Thank you both for joining me, and I hope that you have a wonderful turnout. Matthew was urging people to buy tickets in advance, especially if you want dinner.
Yes, that's correct. Although you could possibly buy tickets at the door too, but certainly advanced tickets with the small venue are recommended.
All right. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.